Savannah is one of the most Googled cities in America for relocation, and for a lot of people, it ends up being better than what they expected. We've been helping families relocate here for years, and we've identified a short list of things that tend to blindside people after they move in. In this video, we're covering the most unexpected pros and cons of living in Savannah. Not the travel vlog version, the insider one. Be sure to stay to the end because the last con is the one that nobody ever thinks about. Pro number one is the weather. Let me paint a picture for you. It's a normal day in late February. You're sitting outside on your patio with an evening glass of wine. Not that we would know or anything. The azaleas are already starting to bloom. Your kids are at baseball practice, and the same thought that you've had over and over since moving in comes to mind. This is what we moved here for. This is exactly what everyday life here in Savannah feels like. You can be outside almost every single day of the year. Winters are short and mild. You're not dealing with very much frost and even fewer freezes. Most days sit in the mid-60s, and even the coldest nights usually land somewhere in the 40s.
We had a family move here from Minnesota, and when we told them it was really cold that winter, they just laughed. It dipped close to freezing for a few weeks this past winter, and we were not okay. We're much bigger fans of the warmer months of the year around here. We do get spring and fall. They just move a little faster. Things warm up, things cool down, but you're not getting snow and those big seasonal shifts that you see in other areas. For a lot of families that we help relocate, especially from places like Ohio or the Pacific Northwest, this feels like a completely different lifestyle in a good way.
Now, we'll be honest with you. July and August are muggy. The humidity climbs quite a bit. The afternoon thunderstorms roll in almost every single day, and locals shift their outdoor hours to mornings and evenings. You just adjust to it, and in return, you get some of the best weather the rest of the year. This is where things start to shift a little, because what we're getting into next is something that most people don't think about before they move here. For a lot of people coming in from months of cold and gray, this trade-off, though, makes total sense.
Before we show you what we mean, if Savannah is on your radar, we help buyers relocate here every single week at the Wellspring Group. We can walk you through what fits your lifestyle, your budget, and how this plays out in your everyday life. You'll find our contact information in the description below. All right, now that we've gotten the housekeeping out of the way, let's keep going. Con number one is the bugs and the wildlife.
Nobody's putting this on a brochure, but the first time you step outside at dusk in late spring and your ankles kind of feel like they're getting lit up, you're gonna wish someone had warned you. Savannah has bugs. That's just the truth. Living here means that you're going to have to get used to that pretty quickly. Sand gnats, which are a little bit bigger than normal no-see-ums if you're from Florida and you're used to those. They are small enough to get through your window screens, and their bites stick around for days. They're most active at sunrise and sunset from the spring through the fall, so the best time to be outside is also when they like to be out too. Yellow flies, deer flies, mosquitoes, they're all here and they all bite. If you're coming from a city where your biggest outdoor issue are the pigeons, this is a real shift for you.
We have some insider tips that we could share with you about how to keep the bugs away. When you reach out to us, be sure to ask. You've also got the jellyfish season around here. For about 6 weeks each year, getting in the water takes a little more planning. When we take the boat out, we're checking conditions, picking the right days, and working around it. Once you get here, you develop your own ocean swimming rhythm, but this is something you want to know ahead of time if you're picturing beach days every single weekend.
We also get asked all the time about alligators and snakes, which is totally fair. Alligators are a part of the ponds and marshes here, and if you keep your distance, especially with your pets near the water, you'll be fine. We've never once heard or seen of anyone in the Savannah area get hurt. We also have quite a variety of indigenous snakes, most of which are non-venomous. We highly recommend joining a snake identifier Facebook page. It's a great way to learn about the good ones to keep around and the dangerous ones that you're going to want to steer clear of. Ultimately, the animals were here first. Our locals respect that, and we all live together just fine.
The truth is that wildlife here is incredible. Bird watching is great. Fishing is a complete personality. And when you're you're out on the boat, dolphins will come right up to you and they put on the most spectacular show that never gets old. Niki has a video of her son holding a shark that he caught while fishing.
I actually have a lot of those videos.
I've got a photo of one of my little ones standing right next to a gator in the driveway, and he thought it was the greatest thing ever. The gator, however, did not. After a while, it stops feeling like something you have to worry about and starts feeling like part of why people love living here. You just learn how to live with it. You stay aware, keep up with pest control, bring bug spray in the evenings, and after a while, it is part of your everyday life, which leads to something most people don't expect: how this community treats the newcomers.
Pro number 2 is that friendliness is actually different here. Here, it's completely normal to be standing in line at the grocery store and the person next to you will just start chatting away. They're not asking for anything, they're not in a rush, they're just being genuinely friendly. And if you're coming from a bigger city, that can feel a little strange at first. And then it becomes one of the things that you miss most when you leave. People talk about Southern hospitality all the time, but here it really feels just a little bit different. Part of it comes down to who lives here. We have 2 major military bases, which means people are always moving in and always moving out, and people are used to making new friends. In Savannah, people are just open to you, whether you're moving with kids, you're retiring, or you're just showing up on your own in your 30s.
Then there are the manners. Recently, one of my sons had an allergic reaction and we had to take an EMT to the emergency room, and the captain told me that my 12-year-old was the most well-mannered kid he had ever met after we got to the hospital. I know it's a big statement, but manners and kindness are kind of an expectation and less of an exception. And this is worth keeping in mind as we go, because that same openness shows up in other parts of life here too, including how the market works. But we'll come back to that in a little bit.
Now, SCAD adds another layer to all of this. Savannah College of Art and Design has been here for over 45 years, and you really feel the creative energy that it adds to the city, especially in places like the Starland District. You've got that traditional Southern warmth, but also really creative, eclectic side to the city that makes it feel welcoming to all types of people. What people don't always expect, though, is what the environment itself does day to day, and that's where we're going next.
Con number 2, the allergy season can be long and a little bit relentless. Don't be surprised when your car turns yellow. We're not talking about a new paint job. We're talking about waking up to a yellow car just covered in what looks like lemon pepper seasoning from just sitting out. That's how allergy season introduces itself around here, and it happens every single year. Late January is when tree pollen starts, and it runs straight through May. March and April are the peak, with oak and pine covering everything in that yellow-green fine powder that we've come to appreciate, because it also means the warm weather is here.
That's right.
At that point, a car wash membership is just a part of your routine.
That's right. As you enter summer and fall, you're going to encounter grass pollen and ragweed. The bottom line is that the allergens are just different here. We've had clients look into all of this and then decide that Savannah was not the right fit, and we completely respect that. We'd much rather you know that before you move here and buy your home than figuring it out afterwards and regretting that decision. For most people, though, there is a rhythm to managing your allergies. You stay ahead of it with a daily Zyrtec, you keep air purifiers in your bedrooms, you close your windows on those high pollen days. One tip we love is a teaspoon of local honey every single day. You can grab it at the Saturday Farmers Market in Forsyth Park. People here swear by it, and over time, it really can help your body adjust to those allergens. If your allergies are severe, it is worth visiting in March or April before you commit to moving here full time. If they're more moderate, most people find them completely manageable. And speaking of things that are more manageable than people expect, let's talk about what it actually costs to move here.
Pro number 3 is the housing affordability.
This is one of our favorite topics.
We see this all the time. People are comparing Savannah to Charleston, Hilton Head, Bluffton, Atlanta, and even Jacksonville. They're running the numbers across all of these cities, and then when they see what homes cost here, they pause because it doesn't quite make sense at first. Savannah comes out ahead on affordability every single time. We hear it from people basically every week. Home prices and property taxes both are more affordable. When you put it side by side, it's not even close. The median sales price in the greater Savannah area as of Q1 of 2026 is $335,000. In Charleston, for something similar, you're looking at more than double.
In Savannah, you've got a city with 23 historic squares, a well-known art school, a major port, and millions of visitors every single year. And the pricing still hasn't caught up with all of that. For buyers, that gap is where the opportunity lies. The 2026 market looks different. Inventory is up. Homes are taking longer to sell. You're not seeing those intense bidding wars like years past. Buyers now have time to consider their options, and there's more room for negotiation. If you've been sitting back and you're waiting to see what happens, this is when the market starts to open up. When we get into the lifestyle aspect in just a minute, it's going to make more sense why this price point stands out so much.
You've got a wide range of housing here. The historic district sits at the top end, and it reflects that. In Ardsley Park, you're looking at early 1900s homes, tree-lined streets, and lots of character. Typically, the high $500,000 mark and up there. If you want new construction, just west of the city, Pooler is where most of that is right now, or just south in Richmond Hill, and those prices are from the $300,000 to $400,000 range.
Pro tip. Property taxes in Georgia are based on 40% of the home's value. And if it's your primary residence, you can also qualify for the homestead exemption. That combination keeps your yearly taxes lower than what you'd see in similar markets like South Carolina or Florida, and it makes a real difference in your monthly payment.
Savannah is one of the most affordable coastal cities on the East Coast. And once you see that, the next thing to understand is what coastal living actually feels like here over time.
Con number 3, Savannah is coastal, but it's not actually a beach town. Most people hear coastal Georgia and they immediately picture walking to the beach on the weekends. This is one of the biggest surprises for people who move here. Savannah is a river city. It sits on the Savannah River, and getting to the beach actually takes a little bit of a drive. Tybee Island is the closest, and it sits about 18 miles from downtown. People call it the Redneck Riviera, and I promise we say that with a lot of love. You do have to pay for parking, and if you don't, you're gonna get a ticket and you might get towed. Don't ask us how we know that. The biggest thing is the drive. There's one road in and one road out. And on a busy summer weekend, that quick drive can actually turn into a long one. High tide, an accident, a holiday, you're just sitting there. And that's part of it. You do have other beach options though. You've got Hilton Head, which is just an hour north. St. Simons and Jekyll Island are about an hour and 15 minutes south. So you're not limited. Tybee just gets the most attention.
Since Savannah isn't a beach town, coastal living here is a little different. The McQueen Island Rails to Trails is located at the entrance to Fort Pulaski and is a 6-mile long trail along the old Tybee rail line. Kayaking through the tidal creeks is something people do all the time, with easy places to launch throughout the area. You'll see people headed out for shark tooth hunts near Tybee. Butterbean Beach on the way to Skidaway Island is a local favorite spot to cool off. It's also a great place to launch your kayak. It's a tidal river beach, no lifeguards, no ocean waves, but it is a beautiful spot that typically only the locals know about.
In places like Wilmington Island, you've got marsh views and boating access right in your neighborhood. The water is just a big part of life here, and it's not always the ocean that we're talking about. Keep this in mind because the last con on this list ties directly into why the beach situation works this way, and it'll make a little bit more sense once we get there.
Once you understand that Savannah is a riverfront port city and the beaches sit out on the barrier islands, it all starts to click. And the lifestyle you get here, that's what we're getting into next. Pro number 4, the lifestyle is genuinely rare.
There's a moment that we hear about all the time from people that we have helped relocate here. It's either right after closing, driving home, or a few days later once the boxes are in the recycling bin. It just hits. The light, the trees, the slower pace, and then you realize This is your life now. You get to live in a true vacation destination. Savannah was planned in 1733 around open public spaces, and 23 of those are still here today. They were built for walking, for sitting, talking, and just gathering and being outside. You can head out for a quick walk in the morning and end up out for 2 hours without even thinking about it. Everything slows down just a bit, and you don't feel like you always need to rush.
The culture here surprises a lot of people. The Savannah Music Festival runs every spring with shows across the city for almost 2 weeks. The SCAD Film Festival in October brings a lot of energy and celebrities to downtown. The Savannah St. Patrick's Day celebration is one of the largest and oldest in the country. Practically the whole city shows up for it. There's always something going on around here.
Then there's something that makes a night out here feel a little bit different. In the historic district, if you're 21 or older, you can carry a drink around in a to-go cup as you walk around the city. It's part of how it works here. We have a friend who runs a food tour company, the Savannah Taste Experience, where you move from one spot to the next. You're gonna try different food, you hear the history along the way, and you can carry that drink in hand the whole time. The city is also very dog friendly. If your dog goes everywhere with you and feels like part of your family, this place makes it easy. The Savannah lifestyle is inspired by a mix of history, nature, art, culture, and a pace that's been building out for about 300 years. And once you see it, you start to understand why so many people are drawn to it.
Con number 4. It's a tourist town and you have to learn the rhythms. The same city that draws you in also brings millions of visitors every year. The part everyone loves, the squares, the cobblestone streets, the walkable downtown, that's where it can feel a little busy. Savannah is one of the top spots in the country for bachelor and bachelorette trips. If you remember what we said earlier about open containers, that's a big reason why.
On a busy weekend night, especially during peak season, you're sharing our beautiful streets with a lot of groups out celebrating. Now, it's not like that all year round. Spring and fall are usually the busiest, and over time you start to learn the flow. You know when to skip River Street, when to book dinner reservations ahead of time, and exactly how to time a date downtown so you miss all of the crowds. There's also a side to this that people don't always consider. The food scene here stays so strong because there's always demand. The city stays well kept because tourism supports it. One thing to be aware of, if you live in the historic district, the noise, the trolleys, the foot traffic, that's just going to be part of your everyday life, not only on the weekends.
What we see works best is living close to downtown, but not living right in the middle of it. You can enjoy everything and still have a quiet place to come home to. Once you learn the rhythm here and pick the right spot, you get to enjoy one of the most beautiful cities in the South while everyone else is just visiting.
Savannah usually ends up better than people expect. The things that people worry about at first often become what they love. It's the stuff that no one talks about that can surprise you. And now that you've got a clear picture of it all, if you're thinking about making a move here and you want to talk through what the right neighborhood looks like for your life, email us at meettwg@gmail.com today. We'll give you a real answer and not just a sales pitch. If Savannah's on your list, but you're still trying to decide between living in the city or in the outskirts, the video linked here walks through coastal Georgia neighborhood by neighborhood. We'll see you in Savannah.